So welcome everybody. I really appreciate everybody being so early and timely. Hopefully it will stay sort of cool in here. We are a little more orchestrated this evening because we are filming, as you know. You probably saw signs, and I just want you to know that we're recording this session so that folks who are not local who want to know about our program are able to watch that online. So thanks for your patience and cooperation as we orchestrate a little more. My name is Katie Mortimer. I am the Executive Director here of Grants, Field Education, and Contracts, and a faculty here at CSUN. We are very excited to have a full room before the semester even starts, so thank you for being here. A couple of housekeeping issues I just want you to be aware of. If you signed in on the way in, promise we will not stalk you, but what that will be is that's our opportunity to send you all of these slides. So don't feel like you have to get every detail tonight. You're going to get the slideshow by email for signing in. Other housekeeping outside the door and to the right are the restrooms. If you're in need, please take a break if you need to. Also, hold questions or jot down questions as you're listening to our presentation, because many of us are going to stay after and be able to answer some of those individual questions you may have about field education, about particular curriculum, about your interests, so we can answer some of those questions for you. Okay? So welcome. Did I forget anything? We're good. Let me introduce you to who we got here, okay? So if I can ask faculty and staff and students who are here, can you come up here in front of the screen just so that the camera can pick all of you up? I know, this is the orchestrated part. Sorry about this. This is a small group of our fabulous faculty and staff who are dedicated. See what's happening here? This is like a little this is a part of our faculty and staff and students who are very dedicated to admissions. And let's start at the end.
I'm David McCarty-Kaplan. I'm a professor here in the social work department, of course, which is why I'm here, and I focus primarily on policy research and advocacy classes.
Hi everyone, I'm Eli Bartle. I'm a professor in the social work department also. I'm the chair of the department and I teach research and policy. Thank you for being here.
Hi everyone, I'm Jody Brown. I'm the director of the online and off-site programs and teach primarily in the research sequence.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Rupapava and I am the admissions and student engagement coordinator.
Hello everyone, my name is Camille Ann Pili-Jose and I am the administrative support coordinator, basically the office manager for the department. So if you come in and out of the office, I'm there to help.
Hi everybody, I'm Marjorie Chase. I am a field liaison and field coordinator and I teach field classes.
Good evening. It's evening already. My name is Jolene Sway and I'm the director of field education and a lecturer. And I am going to sneak out because I actually have class at 6 o'clock, which I'm a little bit late for, but I want to say hello and welcome everyone here. And I'll be back. So if you have any questions regarding field education, I will be back so I can answer those. Okay, welcome.
Hi, I'm Jess Nesselrode. I'm a current student going into my second year, so the 218 cohort. I'm also the secretary of the Social Work Society, the chair for the volunteer committee on Diversity Day, and I am a DCFS stipend recipient.
I'm Yvonne Carrillo, that's hard to, I'm Yvonne Carrillo, St. College program manager for and all of, I support online and off-site programs.
Thank you, everyone.
You should introduce yourself.
And I kind of did, but I'll do it again. Again, my name is Katie Mortimer, and I teach primarily in the HIPSI and practice sequences. So welcome. Thank you, everybody. So that was, again, a smattering of our admissions committee, and something that we really like to highlight, as we know that you are looking at lots of different departments. As I was listening to many of you chat as you were coming in, you're talking about Long Beach, you're talking about UCLA. We have a lot of partners in this region that offer MSW curriculum. So while we're very dedicated to helping you learn about us tonight, please know that we understand that you guys are trying to do your research to figure out what's the best fit for you. And so this is an opportunity where we can highlight what we can offer you, but we're just also very excited about social work education and want to get you to the department that's best for you. This is our admissions committee, and as you can see, we are riddled with lots of folks who are our faculty and our staff who are really dedicated to admissions. It's an important part of our program that we're really dedicated to. And I think it says a lot that we have our chair and our director of online and offsite with us tonight. Infosessions are a really big part of where we get students excited about what we have to offer. I also want you to know that we have a proud history. Dr. Jean E. Daniels was our founding faculty who brought the MSW to CSUN. She's no longer with us, but we like to always highlight that she's the one through our sociology department that really planted this seed and built this program. And although we can no longer claim that we are a baby program, we really have arrived. We still try to keep a lot of what made us special when we were a smaller department. And what I mean by that is I think students still feel like there is a place to have an impact on what this program looks like. We're still open to feedback and trying to mold our growth around what student voice as a part of that stakeholder input. I also want you to know that it's always a little exciting to us because we look at this first cohort where we had 24 students. We were not accredited. These folks all took a chance on us. We are since accredited, no worries. But these folks took a chance on us, and we've grown a lot to go from 24 students graduating our first cohort, and I believe we just graduated about 170. Yeah, so we're feeling good about our growth. Again, I think another piece I really want to highlight here is that this particular department is an advanced generalist practice program. So while other programs will have concentrations, our only concentration is urban family practice. And that's important as you're looking at all of your options. This is a really wild time to be a social worker. The climate and the world, we're seeing things. We have job security. We have a lot of work to do. So I'm excited to see a full room tonight, and I'm excited to see a full room of folks from all sorts, because we really need folks who are going to be doing all sorts of pieces. And I got to tell you, if you look at this list and you're feeling like, I'm not sure I really wanted to be some of these things, I don't know that I knew where I was going to be in this circle. I thought I was really just wanting to be a clinician. Well, that was 25 years ago. It's a little different now. So you never know where you're going to end up, and that's what's exciting about social work. Please know that even if you got 2 on that list, you're probably in the right place. And we're going to talk a lot more about that. But again, we're a generalist approach, so we're looking to be able to arm you and get you ready to be set in any social work setting, whether that's a labor union, a hospital, LAUSD, DCFS, probation, that you have been in touch with and touched by students around you who have been in with older adults, with children, with veterans, that you really have had a rich experience in a number of different settings with different modalities. And that's where the micro, meso, macro practice comes into play. And we're going to talk a lot more about that tonight, and how through your field work as well as your coursework, you're going to get exposed to a lot of those pieces.
Department mission statement. As you're looking at social work programs here and certainly in the surrounding area, I encourage you to look at the mission statement, because this is the active statement that's going to be telling you what that program is about and what drives the people that are there. So for us, we care about preventing social, emotional, and behavioral problems, improving well-being, developing programs and policies, empowering the relevant needs of a multinational, multi-ethnic, multicultural San Fernando Valley and its surrounding communities, and advocating for a diverse and just society. These are action words that we live by and that our students live by. It's one of my favorite things about our program, that we're doing these things. And the other piece, as the director of online and off-site pieces, is the San Fernando Valley. One of the questions that we typically get is, well, wait a minute, I live in Alaska, so how is this relevant to me? It is. One of the things that one of my geography friends told me was that if you took the San Fernando Valley and separated it from Los Angeles, it would be the 5th largest city in the United States. That's how many people are in the San Fernando Valley. So yes, there are parts that are very rural, but there absolutely are urban family practice fits and matches with the San Fernando Valley, and I think, frankly, we have something for everyone. Accreditation, Katie had mentioned this earlier. This is important. Wherever you end up going, please make sure the program is accredited. If you don't graduate from an accredited program, you're not going to be able to get your LCSW, that whole clinician piece that I think a lot of people decide that they want to come in for. You need to, in order to sit for the board, you have graduated from an accredited program. We are accredited. We're really proud of that. We're going up for reaccreditation in 2019, I believe it is. So we've started working on that already, which, should you end up here, would be something that we hope you would be a part of as well. I'm not really ever sure why this slide is here exactly, because this is the thing that you do right before you graduate. It's your capstone graduate project, and I think they give me this to talk to because I'm teaching primarily in the research sequence, and I absolutely adore capstone. It's my favorite thing. It's also the thing that makes most students really, really anxious and nervous. And I encourage you to just get a sense of, know that this is something that we do. This is not a thesis. This is a lovely project that you will work on and that you will complete. We have not yet had anybody not graduate because they did not complete their capstone project. You will not be the first, I promise. It's a really, I think it's a fantastic, fun experience. And this is, the pictures are from where we have our, what we call our capstone fair, where students are presenting their work that they worked on all semester. And my favorite part of that is at noon, because there's a big cheer that goes up. It's really the last thing that students do before they are about to walk across the stage. Jessica's next.
Alrighty, so I get to do the part of the presentation that you all are most excited to hear about, which is the application process and how to get into our program. So I'm going to go over the 4 different programs that we have briefly, and then I'll get into the nitty-gritty details of what you're going to submit as part of your application for the MSW program. So we do have 4 programs, 2 on campus and 2 off-site. So for our on-campus program, we have 1 2-year program, which is a full-time program. We have 1 3-year, which is a part-time. And then for off-site, we have online, which is a 2-year program. And our 3-year program off-site this year is going to be held over at College of the Canyons. And this picture right here is of our most recent graduating class. We admit approximately 200 students each academic year. But last admission cycle, we received about 500-ish applications. So when you break that down to on-campus and off-site, it's about a 20 to 25 acceptance rate. Don't be scared. I see the fear in some of your eyes. It's going to be okay. We just want to let you know that it is a competitive program, but that's all the more reason why you want to come here with us, right? Yeah? Nodding? No? Okay. So, our on-campus 2-year program. Something to note, all of our programs, regardless of how many years they are or the location, it's all 20 classes, all totaling 60 units. It's just maybe the order in which you take it and how they're spread out through the semesters is going to be some of the differences that you're going to see here. For the class schedule for the on-campus 2-year program, the first year, you're going to be, well, for the 2-year program, you're going to be on campus for 2 days. There's going to be 2 full days. So you can see here, the days that you're going to be here are going to be Tuesdays and Fridays your first year, and your second year are Tuesdays and Thursdays. For the field requirement, all programs require fields, whether it's on campus or not. And for field, we're going to talk a lot more in detail about this later on, but just a little tidbit. First year for the 2-year program is going to be 16 hours per week, and for your second year it's going to be 24 hours per week. And these field hours will need to be completed during business hours, which is Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 9 to 6, those types of hours. So here you're going to see the total tuition. So now this number is from last year. So we did, the whole CSU had a slight tuition increase. So while this won't be the exact tuition, it'll be slightly higher, but this is for the full 2 years. So $16,500, slightly more for your full 2 years. If you're not a California resident, please do take a look at this link here. That will tell you more about what tuition is going to look like. So for the 3-year program, again, you'll be in classes for 2 days. Throughout the whole program, it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 9:45 to about 6 to 8:45. You'll still need to do field, but for the 3-year program, your first and second year are going to be 16 hours per week, and you won't have field your 3rd year. If you are a DCFS employee, your field is going to be completed to your 2nd and 3rd year. But again, we'll go over field in detail in a few minutes. And for total tuition, again, I don't have the exact numbers because it was just increased slightly, but for last year, the total tuition for all 3 years was $27,500. Okay, so for off-campus programs, the contact for off-campus programs, it's not myself, is Rachel Navarro, who is not here today, but she asked me to talk about the online and College of the Canyons program. Other people to note besides Rachel is Yvonne, who's over in the back over there raising her hand. She does work for Sane College, which I'll explain what that means in a few moments. And then again, Jody is the director. So let's get into it. So the online program, it's through Sane College, which is self-support. And so what self-support means is it doesn't necessarily receive state funding the way that Cal State Northridge does. So the tuition is going to be a little more, as you can see here, but the online classes are live online through Zoom, which is kind of like a Skype, if you will. It's a video interface where you can meet with your professors in your class. So there'll be live online classes, or you can watch the recorded sessions. We do need you to be present in front of your computer screen weekly for your field classes. because even though this is an online 2-year program, we still do require field, and we do still require it Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 9 to 6. And for your 2-year program, it'll be 16 hours per week for both years. And then if you have questions about online, you can definitely reach out to Rachel, Yvonne, or Jody, but the website is slightly different for the online and offsite programs, and that link is right down here. And for our 3-year program, it's structured similarly to our on-campus 3-year program, but it is at College of the Canyons this year. You can go ahead and see when classes are held, which is Wednesday nights. Thank you. So it's Wednesday nights for College of the Canyons, so that information is incorrect. My apologies. It will be corrected in the PowerPoint that I gave you, but again, classes for College of the Canyons is Wednesday nights. And the same thing as well as you'll need 16 hours per week per field. And you can see the approximate tuition up here. We don't have the exact numbers, but it'll be right around in that ballpark. So let's talk about university requirements. So when you apply to a graduate program, whether it's at our school or a different school, we're going to do 2 applications. One application is going to be to the university, and the other application is going to be to the department. So the university has a different set of requirements than us as the department, and you have to meet both to be accepted into our program. So for the university requirements, we need you to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited university or college before fall 2018. So those of you who are still getting your bachelor's degree and you're going to be graduating in the spring, that's fine because you'll be getting your bachelor's by the time we begin our program in fall 2018. You need to have at least a 2.5 GPA, overall GPA, or a 2.5 in your last 60 semester units or 90 quarter units if you went to a school that was on a quarter system. We prefer a 3.0 or above in the last 60 or 90, but the requirement is a 2.5. So if you do not have a 2.5 GPA, what we do recommend is that you go ahead and take some additional courses at a community college to raise your last 60, 90 GPA to that 2.5 so that you meet the university requirements. And we need to be in good academic standing at the last institution that you attended. So steps in the application process. What I'm going to go over right now is for on-campus only, and then I'll go, the next slide will be for the off-site and online folks who are interested in those programs. So like I mentioned earlier, it's 2 parts. One is going to submit an application to the university, and the second is the department application. So for those of you who are familiar with the CSU system, the application used to be called CSU Mentor. It has now changed. So if you're looking for a CSU Mentor, it's no longer going to be there. The new name and application system is called CalState Apply. You'll find it the same way that you found CSU Mentor, but if you go to our admissions page and you follow the instructions on how to apply for graduate programs, the link will be there for you. We will need your official transcripts sent over to admissions and records. If you graduated from CSUN, you do not need to submit those official transcripts because admissions records has those. The only reason that you would submit official transcripts is if you took classes at another university that our school does not know about. So official transcripts need to be sent over to admissions and records, not our department, for the CalState Apply application. A really important step that I'm going to mention over and over again throughout this presentation is to activate your CSUN email address. So when you apply to CalState Apply, what you're going to do is you're going to put in information, click submit. A couple weeks later, you're going to get something in the mail. In that piece of paper is going to be your CSUN ID, your username, and a temporary password, and your email information. So it's really important as soon as you get that piece of paper to go ahead and activate that CSUN email address and check that email account almost daily, twice a week during this admissions cycle. We will only communicate with you through that CSUN email address. Now you're going to get also a CSUN portal, and while you can certainly check your portal, we will not communicate with you through the portal, just the email address. So keep that in mind. Some other things to note for the CalState Apply application, it's going to ask you for a personal statement and it's going to ask you for some references. What I suggest you do is the personal statement that you upload for our department application, go ahead and upload that as well to the CalState Apply application. We do not require you to write a whole additional personal statement or a letter of intent. You can just upload what you've written for our department. And then for the references, go ahead and put the references that you're going to use for our department application. We will not reach out to the ones that you submit to the CalState Apply. We'll only contact the ones that you submit to the department application. And this will all make sense in a few moments when I go over all the different pieces of the application. So for the department application, it's about a bunch of different components. You can see them on the screen right there, and they'll each have their own slide where I can tell you all about each of the pieces. Oh, and then again, remember you're applying to both the university and the department. And then these links right here, you can find the department application and the university application. And please make sure you do read all the information on our admissions website for each of these pieces. Okay, so for those folks who are interested in the online and off-campus programs, you will go ahead and submit an application to this link right here. So you will not submit a Cal State Apply application if your intent is only to apply to the online or the off-site cohorts. So if you're interested solely in that, then you'll go ahead and follow these instructions. On this website, there is a separate checklist that is just for the online and off-site folks. However, I have this fun graphic here that is going to really help you guide you what to do for whichever program that you're interested in. So let's say you're only interested in the online and off-campus programs. You follow this little arrow here and submit a same college application and follow the instructions on this website. And let's say I don't want to go off-site, I don't want to do online, I just want to do on campus. This yellow side is for you. So you're going to go ahead and submit a Cal State Apply application and follow the instructions on the MSW website and submit your department application. Let's say you're really not sure, you kind of want to do on-site or off-site, and you want to do bouncing back and forth between the COC and the on-campus one. This green section is for you. So if you have any interest in on-campus, but you also have dual interest in online or off-site, then you're going to follow the same set of instructions that you would for the on-campus programs. And on that application will just indicate what programs that you're interested in. And if you have questions, of course, you can reach out to me and I can help guide you as to what application you need to submit. Okay, so the department application. So our department application is fully online. So you'll be submitting 2 online applications. We will begin accepting applications on September 15th. And on September 15th, on our admissions page, is going to be a link that says submit application here. And so you go ahead and click on that link, and it will take you'll have to make a profile, and all these different components are going to come up. So the first component is going to be a basic application. So it's going to have your name, your address, your CSUN email address, and your academic history and program cohort preferences. So this is where you're going to go ahead and indicate to us if you're interested on the 2-year program, the 3-year program, the online, the off-site, all of them, one of them, you'll let us know. So the applicant contract. This must be signed and uploaded to the online application system. Please do read it as if you are agreeing to follow the department and university policies and procedures in regards to admissions and field placement. We're not going to have you sign your whole life away, just the 2 or 3 years while you're here with us. Okay, so recommendation packets. We do require 3 recommendation packets. 2 of them from an academic, or someone who can speak on your academic performance. So a counselor, a professor, someone just in the academic world, and 1 professional. If you graduated over 5 years ago, then we can definitely accept a total of 3 professional recommendation packets. The recommendation packets must be uploaded to the online application system before the deadline, which is December 15th. So while you need to have everything uploaded by December 15th, so do your references. We need to have everything in completion December 15th. We will not accept any paper copies of a reference, no emails, no faxes. Everything needs to be uploaded to the online application system. And when you're choosing these recommenders, please do choose someone who can speak to your academic performance and or your personal strengths and abilities. No relatives. I'm sorry if your aunt is your supervisor at your job, we will not be able to take that letter as a reference. The way that your references are going to get the information is when you go into the online application system, there's going to be 3 separate squares. You're going to put in their name, your relationship, how you know them, and their email address. And there's going to be a submit button for each one. So once you click submit, the online application system is going to automatically send them an email. And in that email, your references are going to see a link for them to create a profile and a link with instructions for them. The instructions are going to say, so-and-so has listed you as a reference, please follow these instructions, etc., etc. If you want to give your references a heads up, the instructions for you and the instructions for the references can all be found in our admissions checklist. So I do recommend going ahead and looking at that checklist, looking at the instructions to kind of prep the references of what we're looking for in these recommendation packets. Transcripts. I did touch on this briefly before, But for the university application, which is Cal State Apply, we do require all official transcripts to be sent over to there from every school that you attended. And for the department, we will require an unofficial transcript. If you upload an official one, awesome, but you don't need to do that. You can always submit an unofficial one. So a lot of times you can get an unofficial one by going through your school's portal or like online system where they house your information. You can just download that PDF and then upload it to our system. Even if you are a CSUN alumni, we're still going to need your unofficial transcripts. So please be sure that you do upload that for us. And part of the on-campus application for the on-campus programs in the online application system is a GPA calculator. And so this is really easy because I'm not very good at math, so I'm going to assume that you all are, but if you're not, then this does the math for you, which is really awesome. You just go ahead and sit with your transcripts, start with the class that you took in your last semester when you graduated, and work backwards until you get to 60 semester units or 90 quarter units. It's really simple. I love it. When I tested this out, I was like, this is the best thing ever. So one note about the transcripts, please do make sure you order your transcripts as soon as possible. There can be delays, and if we don't receive your transcript, but receive everything else, unfortunately, it is considered late and we do not review your application. And then one other note, if you have them mailed over to our admissions and records office, please do include the last 4 of the zip. So that can be found on the admissions and records website. It's going to have the address. It's going to say Northridge, California, 91330 - and then 4 digits. And make sure you include those 4 digits because that's how our university mail department knows where to send the mail that we receive. Resume. So we do ask that you all create a resume. On this resume, please do include any paid experience, volunteer experience, or internships that you have in the field of human services and other. So if you worked at Barnes & Noble for 4 years, and then you worked for the Peace Corps, and then you worked for a social work agency, we want to see all of it. So please do include all the work experience, volunteer experience, internship experience that has made you the person that you are today. Your resume that you're going to submit to us is going to look different than a resume that you may submit for your job. And the reason for this is that we ask for how many hours you spent on each job and activity. So for example, if you worked at Barnes & Noble from May 2010 to June 2014, 40 hours per week, we're going to be looking for those 40 hours per week and the total. So I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of math here to go ahead and give us those hours. If you look on our admissions checklist and you click on the resume portion, there will be instructions and there will be a sample. So you can follow that sample to see exactly what we're looking for when we're looking for the hours for each job. We do ask that it's 1 to 2 pages double spaced, 12-point font, and 1-inch margins. And again, we should be able to easily calculate the total number of hours you spent on each activity. Okay, the personal statement. I always get a lot of questions with this. So we're going to go over it, and if you have other questions at the end, please feel free to ask. Not at the end of the slide, at the end of the presentation. So personal statement. It's going to be 5 to 7 pages total. It's going to be double spaced, 12-point font in Times New Roman, 1-inch margins, and it must be in question and answer format. So on our website, we have 6 questions that we're going to ask you for a personal statement. So you're going to write question 1, answer. Question 2, answer, and so on and so forth. Please do be mindful of this 5 to 7 pages because if you answer questions 1 through 5 in pages 1 through 7, and question 6 is on page 8, we're never going to see question 6. So we stop reading at page 7. So please do try to condense all of your answers into that 5 to 7 page limit. So as you're writing your personal statement, I want you all to ask yourselves these questions. Did you answer all of the questions? Did you answer all of the questions in the entirety? Hint, if it's A, B, C, answer A, B, and C. Has someone read it for you? Does it reflect you as a person? Does it reflect you as a future social worker? Does it highlight your strengths and experiences? And if you're getting stuck and you're not quite sure about how to answer it in a social work lens or what have you, these links at the bottom, they're kind of dark here, but when you are all emailed the presentation, these will be clickable and it will give you more information about the social work field. Other requirements. So I'm going to tell you all about these, but I do not want anyone to go and register for the GRE. Make an eye contact with some of you. Do not go and register for the GRE. The GRE is a university requirement once you are admitted to the program. So if you are admitted to the program, and if your GPA is below a 3.0, we will email you and tell you that you need to take the GRE, but only at that time. So if you're already going through a lot of stress, trying to get your application together, We don't want to add this layer on. And it's the same thing for the writing proficiency exam, which is the WPE. It's a CSU requirement and a university requirement that if you did not graduate from a CSU, then you have to take the WPE. But again, it's only if you are admitted to the program and if we therefore let you know that you need to take this. And for the WPE, it really doesn't matter like what other school you graduated from or what your GPA was. If it wasn't from a CSU, then we have to have you take that. So just little things to keep in the back of your mind, but again, don't worry too much about these right now. And international students. So if you are an international student, there are some additional requirements. We will need you to take the TOEFL exam. We will need an affidavit of financial support. All transcripts will need to be translated into English. And we do strongly encourage you to reach out to the International Admissions Office. They're very, very helpful. So if this applies to your situation, please do reach out to them. Okay, so deadlines. Again, we will start to begin accepting applications on September 15th, and the final deadline is December 15th. But in between there, we're going to have a preferred deadline of November 15th. So this just means that hopefully we will contact you sooner for an interview, because we are the only MSW program that I'm aware of that has an interview process, or interview portion as part of the admissions process. So if you make it through the first round of screening, you'll be contacted through your CSUN email address for an interview. So, so you'll go through, we'll invite you to an interview, it'll be a group interview, and part of the reason of this interview is we're obviously interviewing you to see if you're a good fit for our program, but as you are all are deciding what program that you're applying to, you need to decide if we are a good fit for you as the program that you'll be getting your MSW through. So again, September 15th, November 15th, and December 15th. Seeing a trend here? So you will get notified of your admissions decision, whether we are able to accept you or not, on or before May 15th. It is our goal to get it on or before May 15th. We will certainly contact you earlier if we are able to, but that is the last deadline. Please note that no late or incomplete applications will be reviewed, including those that are unfortunately all complete except for one reference that didn't submit it. So please do check up on your references and send them nice, friendly reminders to make sure that they submit everything by December 15th. And again, we will only contact you through your CSUN email address. Okay, so now I'm going to pass it over to Katie Mortimer and Marjorie Chase, and they will tell you all about field education.
All right, hi everyone. How's everyone doing? Okay?
We're good.
Is this a lot of information?
Yes.
It's a lot of information. The great thing is you will get this PowerPoint, so you don't have to try to get it all in right now. So we're going to talk to you about field education, and I think we're both pretty enthusiastic about field education.
We are.
So let's see, what does the slide say? We're sort of pinch hitting because Professor Swain was actually going to be doing this section, but we both are very intricately involved with field, so we are going to. But excuse me as I stare at this. So we start off by saying signature pedagogy of social work, and someone might say, well, what the heck does that mean? When you take your social work classes, you are learning so much important content that is going to help you become professional social workers. But to make that come to life, you do that when you go out into the field and you're at your internship and you're able to take what you're learning in the classroom and apply to hands-on experience. And those experiences are, I know for me, when I think back to my social work education, which was quite a lot of years ago, it's the field experiences that actually stand out, and I probably are the most memorable in terms of what I took with me and what I applied then later as a social worker. And so let's see, we're going to be talking about the application process, the practical aspects of field practicum, and so such as travel in cars, stipend programs, background checks, and other requirements. How far you'll have to travel to get to your internship that you're going to for 16 hours a week, generally 2 weekdays. And again, as Jessica said, availability during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 6 p.m. And I think for a lot of students or a lot of people thinking about doing this program, that is challenging if you're trying to balance, work with school. But realistically, and this may come up in a later slide, realistically, the agencies where our students are placed, that's when they can host students for their internships. And so that's why we unfortunately have that kind of limitation in terms of that students need to be available during the week for those, for their internship hours.
I think the other general statement I would want to make, and I know there's a slide that's going to help us to address this, but please know that we know you're coming in with maybe an idea of who you want to work with or what kind of setting you want to work in. But we really have a strong commitment to broaden your breadth of knowledge. And while I came in thinking I was ready to work in a clinical role with kids, they took one look at me and said, and probation's where you're going. So please be aware that what you bring in, while we're excited and want to support your journey, we also want to hopefully open your definition of what is going to make you a social worker. And field is a big part of where we get the opportunity to do that.
Okay, the field application process. So we have an online website, Intern Placement Tracking, IPT, and so the nice thing is that you get a lot of direction throughout the process. So again, this is at the point where you have applied for our program, you've been accepted our program, you've accepted our offer, yay, you're going to be a CSUN MSW student. And so you're going to be getting an email that will direct you to fill out an online application on IPT, and then you come in for an in-person interview with one of the field coordinators. I'm one of the field coordinators, and we have one other, Tiffany Brooks, so you'll meet with one of us. And that's great because that's a one-on-one time for us to get to know you even a little bit better, and that helps us do just what Katie was talking about in terms of figuring out what experience you have and what will be a really great learning experience for you, and then we figure out where we're going to place you. And then the next step will be that you actually will go out and interview at an agency that we identify as your prospective field placement. For your first year, the department decides where you're going to be placed, and again, we really want to make sure that we're expanding your experiences and giving you some new learning and growth experiences. So we determine where you're going to be placed, but the agency where you interview, can decide whether or not they can accept you for an internship.
Different than other disciplines, you don't need to worry about those agencies. We have agencies we work with and will be matching for this.
Right, and those agencies have to follow some very specific guidelines set by the Council on Social Work Education. So unfortunately, not just any agency can be a social work internship. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay. So, and again, Jessica talked a little bit about this. So, first year of field practicum is 16 hours a week that you'll be at your internship. Again, generally during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 6. Under strategy, we pick for you, just as I just said, we do, the department selects where you're going to be placed for your first year internship. And again, we want it to be something new that challenges you. And while we say it challenges you, you get a tremendous amount of support in our program from your field instructor at your internship, from your field liaison who teaches your field class, from your peers. It's an incredibly supportive environment. And then benefits, learn something new about the field and yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Katie, you want to add anything?
The thing I would add is just that I know that, again, as I heard people chatting, this is true at every Infosession, you're trying to plan your life. You're trying to figure out how you're going to make this happen. Whether you've got family you're caring for, kiddos, job, all the commitments and responsibilities you have in your life. And we understand you're shopping that and trying to make sense of how you're going to fit all this in. Part of the reason we're really clear about the business hours piece is because lots of people will come in and say, I've got 2 hours on Monday, I've got 8 hours on Saturday, and I've got 3 hours on Sunday. Okay, well, we're trying to put together an internship that's going to be 16 to 24 hours for you, and really social workers are most available. I think Marjorie made mention of this, are available during business hours. It doesn't mean we never have Saturday hours, but it means that those are for rare situations, and really we want you to think about, how am I looking at my life and making space for graduate school? How am I going to make space for a field internship experience that's really doable for all of the things I'm trying to juggle? So as you're looking through some of these different options, just be, I know you already are, so keep looking at this, but we understand you're shopping. We want to make sure we're really clear about our expectations.
Second year, so we're just jumping together. Well, let's go on. Now you've applied to our program, you've been accepted, you've accepted our offer, you finished your year, you're already in your first year of field placement, you're doing great. So now we're already talking about second year field practicum. For the students who are in the 2-year program stateside, second year is actually 24 hours a week at your internship. And but all other cohorts, it's 16 hours both years, first year and second year. The same hours and that kind of thing is very similar. the strategy is very different for second year. For second year internships, you have input into your field placement. Basically, you get a lot of information about the agencies that we have affiliation agreements with. You're able to meet with agency personnel. You're able to meet with second year students while you're still in your first year. You get to learn a lot about the agencies, and then you select agencies where you want to interview, generally 2 agencies where you want to interview. And again, after you interview, you're going to be ranking kind of your first and second choice. The agencies are also ranking all the students they're interviewing, and they're interviewing students from all of the local MSW programs. So this is, anyway, it's great. Some students love it because, hey, I finally get to pick something I want. Other students are like, oh, I liked it better when you picked for me, but this is how we do it. So anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to say that please know that you, wherever you get placed, you are going to be alongside USC interns, UCLA interns, Long Beach interns, Cal State Bakersfield. We really have, we share agencies and we call it collaboration. There is a little bit of competition, but a whole lot of collaboration with other schools. So it is not so abnormal that you will interface with a lot of students from other agencies and universities at those agencies, which can be really fun because you get to get a sense of what other people are doing and what other universities look like. But please also know that we're very proud of our CSUN interns and how they shine for us. So we'll be ready in there with them.
Practical aspects of your placement travel. So we talked about, I think earlier might have said no more than an hour. I'm not sure if that was up there, but basically we set, we kind of say where's the starting point, like where are you living, and then we kind of do a line, an hour around circle around that. We don't want students to travel more than an hour to their field placement. Sometimes it can be, a much shorter drive, but we say up to an hour, and in Los Angeles, an hour cannot be that many miles sometimes, actually. So, but we do take that into consideration. Most agencies, I'd say almost all of them, do background checks. They do life scans. Sometimes there are other requirements, TB tests, that kind of thing. That is not, the department does not make those determinations. The agency where you are placed, they each have their own policies, and so student interns, need to meet all of those requirements, and some of those, as you can see, some of those other requirements as well. For students who have, and I don't know if there's a slide on this or not, but if a student does have, for example, a criminal record, there are some agencies that have very specific HR policies that prohibit them accepting those students. We try to find that out early so students don't even get sent for an interview at an agency, which is why we really ask for every student to be very honest and forthcoming when we meet with you individually. We do ask about this so that we can make sure that we are sending you to an agency, where that won't be a barrier.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, please do.
Again, I know you're shopping and I know you're trying to figure out for yourself what's a good fit. Please also know that, first of all, whatever we learn about this, it's after we have accepted you. It's confidential. It stays with us, the field department. That's considered private information. But also that we're looking to recruit you completely outside of this. So please know this is not a barrier that rules you out for us. We want representation across our community to make sure that we've got folks who know the communities we're trying to serve. So please know that these aren't considered a barrier. These are considered things we want you to understand. For instance, if you apply for Department of Children and Family Services in LA County, you have to do a psychological evaluation, a medical evaluation, a clinical interview. You have to do all sorts of crazy hoops. That's a long way to say. We understand that there are agencies that have a really, we'll call it rigorous, screening process. That's not our mindset, that's theirs, and obviously we're trying to get you marketable so you can get a job, but we're really looking for, for everybody to be a part of our program. I don't know if that makes sense. So here are our stipends. Some of these are relevant in your first year as you're coming in. Some of these are relevant in your second year as you go into your concentration year field. So we don't need to spend a lot of time on this because once you're admitted, anyone who is admitted gets the stipend opportunities. We don't select for that. Everybody gets the chance to apply. The two stipends that are available to first years are our child welfare stipends, both our CalSWEC and our UCCF. And I'm just going to be kind of brief about them. They're kind of similar, getting more similar every day. But they're both stipends directed to recruit for our public child welfare career path. So we are looking to find folks who want to be, have a career path of child abuse and neglect as their social work journey. So you are essentially coming in and applying for a pretty competitive stipend that offers $18,500 per year to be able to go through the program. It is the only concentration-like or track-like entity we have in our program. So if you get the CalSWEC stipend, for example, you're going to be placed in a nonprofit agency that serves what we call Title 40 kids and families, so kids who are identified as at high risk or currently in the process of being a ward of the court for child abuse and neglect. Okay, that's your first year. Your second year, you're going to work in a public child welfare agency. LA County is our biggest partner in that, but we do also place interns at Ventura County, we have at Santa Barbara County, at Kern County sometimes. So we do have other options, Orange County ones. So we have other county partners, but the CalSWEC program is a statewide program with a work back commitment. And what that means is after getting 2 years of $18,500 per year to be a part of the cohort for CalSWEC, you then have a work back commitment. You don't have to pay the $18,500 for each year back. You just have to be employed in a California state county for public child welfare in Kern, in I don't say Willow, that's so not right. There are many counties, you know them, throughout the state of California. You just have to be employed in one of them. And it's just a pretty rigorous contract that we can tell you all about. It's a wonderful opportunity, but you've got to be passionate about public child welfare because it's a very specific role. Okay, we can talk more about that. The UCCF, the stipend is, I'm sorry, I should tell you what that is. California Social Work Education Center is through UC Berkeley, and it's, again, a statewide stipend for public child welfare throughout the state of California. The UCCF stipend is through LA County DCFS. It is 2 years, again, just like CalSWEC. You have a first-year stipend experience where you're at a nonprofit for instance, foster family agency, or at a school site exclusively working with foster youth and families. So it's still public child welfare, but not in the county entity as like an investigator. Your second year, you will be exclusively at one of the 19 sites within LA County Department of Children and Family Services. And that is a contract specifically with LA County. So when you have that 2-year work back that I told you about, you can't go up to San Francisco, or to Sacramento County to be able to do your payback. You must do it at LA County DCFS. So that's a different kind of payback, and one to shop and think about. We have coordinators for both of those stipend programs that will be able to answer all of your questions if that's something of interest when we get to that stage. The other stipend programs, the gerontology stipend program is GSWIC. That's for working with older adults. It's a fabulous opportunity you'll learn about for your second year. The mental health, departmental mental health, and CalSWIC stipends for mental health are both opportunities you'll get in your second field experience, whether you're a 3-year or a 2-year. I should also highlight that CalSWEC program, unless you're a DCFS employee and you're applying knowing that you have a different path as an employee for LA County, and I can talk to you after about that. All CalSWEC, the only cohorts that are eligible for the CalSWEC stipend are the 2-year on-site program, okay? Not the 3-year evening program, not the online or the COC cohorts. UCCF is open to online and to on-campus 2 years only. I'm looking around because that sort of changed lately, correct? Correct. We'll go with that. Yeah. The other stipends you're going to learn all about. Okay. Sorry, that's a whole mouthful, but I want to make sure you get it all. Okay. Now we have Jess Nesserod from CSUN here to talk to you a little bit. Take it away.
Hi everybody, I'm Jess. I'm currently the SWS secretary for the upcoming year. And really it's the club for the social work department, but we're so much more than that as well. We do events, and this year we're doing professional development events. We're definitely doing self-care events because that's something as social workers we really need to process and be able to take care of ourselves as well. So we really want to emphasize the self-care that needs to be taken, so we need to take care of ourselves. And then we also are doing community advocacy events, so where we go out into the community and we really work with the community and we promote events, we table at events, we help with cleanups, different things like that, and we volunteer within the community. And we are comprised of specifically social work, Masters of Social Work students here at CSUN, and from all different cohorts. And it's a lifetime membership, so once a member, always a member. You continue to come to events, and it really is to bring all of the cohorts together so that the off-campus cohort doesn't feel like they're separated from the on-campus cohort, so the online cohort doesn't feel like they're as included or they're not as important as the other cohorts that are here on campus. We also, one of our main events that we do, this is actually, the picture up here is actually last year's board. Our new board doesn't have a picture yet. And this picture down at the bottom is actually from our last trip that we did. It's a big event we do called Lobby Days, and it's actually with Dr. McCarty Kaplan here. And we get on a bus and we go to Sacramento, and we lobby for bills with the NASW, which is the National Association of Social Work. And really we meet with representatives and senators within the state capitol and really lobby for bills and discuss why we think they should be passed. And it's this huge event. I think last year there were 1,300 students and social workers that showed up, and we took an entire bus. I think there was 45 of us approximately. And that is one huge event that really Social Work Society kind of works towards, and we do a lot of fundraising for that as well. And we do socials and everything that can lead up to just kind of building camaraderie. We also are in support of an event that the Social Work Department puts on with Professor Jose Paez. It's called Diversity Day, and it's an event that this year, well, this coming school year, it's going to be held on February 17th, and our topic is Trauma, Know, Heal, and Thrive. Social Work Society, most of us on the board are on that as well. I am the chair for the volunteer committee, so we're very involved with that, and kind of a lot of our fundraising will go towards putting that on as well, which is open to the community, it's open to students, and it's really a place for everyone to get together and kind of learn and build off of each other and to just see from different perspectives. Something that I do want to mention is that there are 5 people on our board. We have a president, an internal vice president, an external vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer. Currently, we have the president, the internal vice president, secretary, and treasurer are all on-campus 2-year individuals. So we'll be graduating this coming May, and our external vice president is she was a part of the College of the Canyons cohort, and now she's doing online. So she really reaches out to those cohorts that are not here on campus. Again, to have that camaraderie between all of the cohorts so that we can come together and kind of support each other and be there. And that is the club. So, yeah. And I will be here afterwards if you have any questions. I don't know where the clicker is.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Do a combo.
So Jess actually just did a really great job of sort of introducing this. And actually, one thing I was going to say when I was looking at these slides earlier was, you know, what's wonderful about our program, it's been alluded to already, is that it is very student-driven. And this is a great example of that. And the fact that you shared, you know, some of that enthusiasm, that energy and interest, you're probably thinking, I'm going to be awfully busy. I've got those classes, and I've got that internship that you keep talking about all those hours. I don't have time for anything else. And you know, amazingly, actually, students do, and they do amazing things that go beyond and enrichen their experiences in the graduate school experience. So, you know, here, Jess already mentioned, I think, Diversity Day and Lobby Days, and you'll be talking about some of those in more detail. Docs and Talks, Lunch and Learn, and Graduation. So let's go to the next. Why don't you?
Sure. Hi. Hello, everyone. You're doing wonderful. Thank you for hanging with us this long. I know it's a lot of information. I just wanted to start by saying It's very, very encouraging and exciting to see so many faces so early in a cycle like this. This is something we've never done before. And the fact that you guys are already thinking about what you're going to be doing next year or beyond that point is very encouraging. That kind of forward thinking is something that's going to serve you well as future social workers, certainly. All right, that being said, Diversity Day was already alluded to by our lovely student colleague here. Diversity Day is something we do every year. Each year it has a different specific focus that is decided upon by students engaged in the event. So last year it was disability justice. Before that it was liberation. I believe that was the one before, wasn't it? Liberation-based healing. I think that was it. And then this year, like was said, trauma is going to be the focus. And the idea here is that we have a variety of community-based participants, both in the audience and as presenters, that come and share a whole day with us, trying to expand our students' capacity to understand the intersections of various aspects of diversity and the work that we do as social workers. So the idea is to really give you an opportunity to engage with a new idea, maybe something you're a little less familiar with than what you do usually in your social work, education, or work, and come and join us for really a shot in the arm of diversity awareness and appreciation. And it usually includes some sort of presentation, whether it's musical or theatrical or visual art. There's also a fair amount of interaction at this event through speaking in small groups or large groups, and various kind of workshop opportunities as well. If it is something you're interested in, or if this program is something you're interested in, I highly recommend you consider trying to visit us for Diversity Day this year. I think it would be a really wonderful thing for you to see kind of what our community looks like a little bit ahead of time. Lobby days. I guess I should talk about this since this is me as well. Yay. Okay, so I'm the faculty lead on lobby days, which means that I work with the SWS to organize this event. Most of the work is done by them. I just kind of cheerlead on the side. But the idea here is that we want you to get a sense of how to take your power as an individual and as a social worker and enact it on a stage that's bigger than something you might have anticipated before. Most people, in my experience, come to this program with an idea of getting involved in clinical social work, direct practice, service with one-on-one or small groups. And that is awesome if that's what you want to do. But we are a generalist practice, which means that we're going to provide you with new and exciting skills that you might not think you are currently capable of, but I promise you, you have the power to accomplish. So what this is an opportunity to do that. If you've never examined the role policy or structural inequality or societal oppression might impact those individual relationships that I spoke of a moment ago, this is an opportunity to actually learn about how social policy is constructed, who are the power players, and how you might get your voice in that world so as to change things that you want to see changed in the future. And it'll provide you an opportunity to A, learn about some very specific policies that are happening in the now. They're usually pretty hot topics. Like last year we were talking about whether or not state authorities are going to collaborate or support federal authorities with regard to immigration. And we looked at mental health diversion prior to sentencing, which would take away some of the stigma of a felony conviction at the time somebody's allowed to be considered for mental health services. Things like that are really important issues. And if you start to kick up your game beyond being able to talk to individuals that are struggling with these issues to knowing how to speak to it on a structural and policy level, it's really kind of a beautiful thing to see students' minds kind of get blown like that, you know. And this is an opportunity for that. Now there's an application process for it. We're trying to figure out ways to bring more and more students out to this event, but usually it's around 50 or so students, so obviously that's not everyone. But I hope it is something you consider when you do come here, because you're all going to come. Docs and Talks. Docs and Talks is another opportunity to engage with our community as a student. The idea behind these kinds of slides is just to give you a sense that there's more than just the classroom and there's more than field. Those things are very important, but we want you to come away from this experience with a sense of being part of a very important and ongoing community that tries to tackle social work both in educational, experiential, and fun experiences where you get to share new ideas and time with one another outside of the classroom. And Docs and Talks is an example of that, where we basically choose a documentary that has to do with a social issue of particular concern, We offer you guys an opportunity to come sit, watch the movie, and then there's a led discussion and often a guest speaker that participates on the topic of the documentary as well. And this is just one of many opportunities you would have to, as I said, kind of participate in fun activities as a member of this community. And popcorn. Yeah, that's always good. Movies are better than popcorn. Lunch and Learns are another example of this kind of activity. I've led a couple of these myself. They're actually really a great opportunity for you to kind of expand your professional and social networks. What it is basically there are 2 days, usually a semester or a week, that you're on campus. And Lunch and Learns are provided on campus during lunch, and I think we're thinking about offering them in the evening so other cohorts can join as well. But it gives you an opportunity to kick back with some food, join us for sometimes in this room for an hour or so to talk about something that is of professional or intellectual or social interest to you. In the past, we've had professors come and kind of talk about some of the research they're engaging in, which can be an opportunity for students, obviously, to learn something, but also to see some potential opportunities for collaborative partnerships over summers or in the coming year. There have been folks that have come and done like professional development work, such as doing kind of job interview and kind of resume preparation kind of strategy. And that can be really important, especially because the big part about this program is to prepare you to be marketable as soon as you finish, to go out and get really kick-ass jobs at a livable salary. Now, social workers' salary is not the main thing, but we hope to provide you with that ability to get out there and really compete for some really wonderful jobs, and there are many of them. But things that we've done in the past to add to that are grant writing, symposium, state of the prison systems, bioethics, mindfulness, meditation, and things like that. And then we have graduation, right? Now, I think it's important to show this slide because a lot of what you've gotten is somewhat anxiety-provoking. There's that sense of, oh my God, is this really happening? Am I really going to do this Master's of Social Work program? Am I going to do this for 2 or 3 years and put all my time and energy into this? What will I get? I've got to lose friends and family time and blah, 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 all that. Yes, to a degree that's true, but I promise you, when you walk across this stage and you're wearing that cap and gown and you can look out on the audience and with your professors and see all those faces of people that have supported you to this point and have been around to see you grow as an individual and a professional, to then be called a Master of Social Work, it's one of these most beautiful moments that will always bring kind of your professors to choke up a bit because it's such a wonderful ascension and rite of passage. And we've really had some amazing students go through this process in recent years since I've been here that are going on to do really wonderful work in communities we care about. And our ultimate goal is to make you as successful as possible to go to communities in need and be a face and a representation of social justice as we see it, to support vulnerable and oppressed communities, to look for people whose voices are a little less heard or who might need a helping hand in making their voice more powerful, to make sure that you're reflecting kind of communities we want to see in the future. We want you to feel empowered to do that in as many ways as possible. And at the moment of your graduation, it's like, oh my gosh, now I've got to actually go do it, and you actually have the tools in your pocket to make it real, right? So we want you to come join us. There are a lot of opportunities to look at other programs. I think CSUN is particularly unique because we have an incredibly diverse student body. We have an incredibly connected faculty group that are dedicated to working with you as individuals and creating relationships with you. We invest in you. And I think our program is unique also because we not only say we're into social justice and empowerment and strengths-based approaches, it is true. We walk the walk of what I think the heart of social work should be. And if that is the kind of work you're concerned with or interested in pursuing, despite the challenges, despite the troubles or tribulations that might be involved, it is a hard road, but you will be very well prepared if you join us along that road. And that's all I have to say.
You see why we save him till the end.
Yes. Thank you all for coming. So what we're going to do right now is please go ahead and jot down this information. Move back just a little bit. On campus program, I am your point of contact. Off campus program, Rachel is. Now Rachel is not going to be back on campus until September 15th. So any questions that you have for her, please send them my way. And then I will answer them until the time being. I will reach out to Yvonne or Jody if I need additional support. But she will be coming back to us on September 15th, and we can't wait to have her back. We miss her dearly. All good things. She had a baby, so nothing to be worried about.